Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm so happy to see all of you here for Shabbat and on live stream. Hello to everybody. I also wanted to say today is the first day, it's Rosh Chodesh Elul. So it's the first day of the month of Elul, which precedes our high holy days. So this is when we start to begin to turn inward a little bit, to reflect, to engage in cheshbon hanefesh, an accounting for the soul. So if you're not good at accounting for the soul, hire a good accountant. So we begin, though, by recognizing, truly, jokes aside, how pleasant and good it is that we are all here together from all different places, different backgrounds. Here we are, we sing from Psalm 133, Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. And now to officially start our Shabbat, to kindle our Shabbat lights, I would like to invite up Kathy Weber, and you can follow along on page 120 in your Siddur or your prayer book.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. We continue on page 126. Let us read together. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other. To work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. Speaking of visions, let us envision now we are at that wedding where we officially welcome in our Shabbat bride. As we sing the words of Lecha Dodi on pages 138 and 139, we are invited every week to this sacred and this holy wedding. We get to go to a wedding every week. We sing stanzas 1, 2, 5, and 9, and feel free to rise on the final stanza and officially turn and welcome our Shabbat bride, Lecha Dodi. La 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 lecha that we have welcomed our Shabbat bride, we are prepared, hopefully. But if we are not, we have a bridge on page 144 that is the Chatzi Kaddish, which leads us between the welcoming of Shabbat and the Baruch Hu. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael, bagala, uvizman karib, v'immeru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach ve'yishtabach, ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh, ve'yithadar ve'yitale ve'yithalal, shemei dekudesha brichu, laila min kol birchata ve'shirata, tushbechata ve'nechemata, damiran be'alma, v'imiru amen. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there truly is no place on earth without the presence, which is why perhaps one of the names of God is Hamakom, the place. We continue on page 146, where we rise for the Baruch Hu. Turn to page 152 and 153 in our prayer books, as we are reminded to hear, to listen, Shema Yisrael, listen, O Israel, listen, O those who wrestle and struggle with God. It is okay to wrestle and struggle and question, but at the end of it all, we come together and we truly are one. So let us think of breaking that illusion that is separateness in a negative way as we sing Shema together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Our relationship to God can be changing over time and be multifaceted. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotefot beinenecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitim kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem emet. I am your true God, or God of truth. Let us now turn together to page 157 and read responsively beginning in the middle of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. As we turn the page, we sing as the Israelites did on the shores of the sea after they had crossed Yam Suf, the Sea of Reeds. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God, among all the gods that are worshipped. Micha mocha. Let us sing together. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Nora tahilo tosefele Malchutecha ra'uvanecha Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Miriam Ze Elianu v'yamru Ze Elianu v'yameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed We turn in our prayer books now to page 160. We ask God to guard us as we sleep, to grant us peace as we lay down, to spread the wings of holiness over us. Perhaps I like to think of a warm blanket. Perhaps this Shabbat, in the morning, you can feel that warmth, that comfort that you felt during the night, but right before you come to Torah study at 9:30. Page 160, we sing Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu We continue together on page 163 in our prayer books. The reading in the middle of the page. Let us join together in this joyful reading. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind and joy in the trees. The Sabbath arrives in the world, scattering a song in the silence of the night. Eternity utters a day. Perhaps one day, every day, will be as Shabbat. But for now, to keep us, we have the covenant of Shabbat, which we sing of joyously on page 162, where we sing V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat. How do we keep Shabbat? It is individual, but we are all here together, so let us celebrate with percussion, with our voices, raise them together, V'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasod et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת vayinafesh. And on the seventh day, God rested. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. On pages 164 and following, we rise, if we are able, as we join together in tefillah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agita gilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחלחל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. You may be seated. We continue on page 174. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael utefilatam ba'ahava tikabel utehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha el karov lechol korav Pnei el avadecha v'chonenu shafok ruchacha aleinu Eloheinu ve'avotenu ve'imotenu ya'ale ve'yavo ve'yizacher zichronenu ve'zichron kol amcha beit Yisrael lefanecha latova lechen ulechesed urachamim l'chaim u'lashalom b'yom rosh hakodesh hazeh zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova amen ufokdenu vo livracha amen v'hoshienu vo l'chaim amen v'techazena enenu b'shuvcha l'tzion barachamim baruch ata Adonai hamachazir shechinato l'tzion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. We now turn to page 178. For our blessing for peace, we ask God during Shalom Rav to grant us peace or shalom or wholeness, togetherness, completion in every moment. Perhaps we look to Isaiah's desire on 179, Lo yisa goy el goy cherev lo yilmadu od milchama, nation shall not take up sword against nation. Perhaps we shall never learn war anymore. Ken yehi ratzon, may it be so, as we sing together, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael mechol et uvechol shah lishlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We turn now in our prayer book to page 180. We will continue with Oseh Shalom, but before Oseh Shalom, may we perhaps take a moment to begin practicing reflecting for the High Holy Days. Perhaps look back on this past week, think about it, breathe into it, and then perhaps, if possible, as much as we can let it go on an exhale. We can enter that sanctuary of our own minds for a moment, for personal prayer and reflection. Let us do that now. We now continue with Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. We now turn in our service to page 364 and following for Seder Kriyat, the Torah, Shabbat, the reading of the Torah on Shabbat. For this section of our service, this joyous section, I would like to invite up David Pekar to open and close our Ark, Carol Ann Gordon to carry our Torah, and Larry Weber, who will undress our Torah. At this time, you can all come on up. And you may all rise, if able and willing. כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה. ברוך שנתן תורה, תורה. לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו. גדלו לאדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. לך אדוני הגידולה והגיבורה והתפארת והנצח והחול. כי הוא בשמיים ובארץ, כי הוא בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל לראש. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, וישתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, וישתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, וישתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, וישתחוו להר קודשו.
כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו, רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, וישתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, וישתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אלוהינו, רוממו.
For this week's Torah portion, which is Parashat Shoftim, or Judges, we can find it in our Chumash on page 1456. This section I will be chanting from is the first few verses of Parashat Shoftim. it calls for the establishment of just courts and the establishment of a fair and unbiased justice system. A truly revolutionary writing for the time. You will hear the famous line in the chanting, Tzedek, Tzedek, Tir Dof, which we will get back to. Justice, justice, you shall pursue. And you will hear Mishpat Tzedek, or righteous judgment. Yamod Zisamer ben Yosef Halevi. I call up now Steve Weitzman for Aliyah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch at Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. She'baruch Abonu mikol hamim. V'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch at Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen, amen. Shoftim v'shodrim. Titen lecha b'chol she'arecha. Asher Adonai Elohecha. Noten lecha lishvatecha. V'shavtu et ham mishpat tzedek. Lo tateh mishpat. Lo takir panim. V'lo tikach shochad. Ki ha-shochad ye'aver enei chochamim v'salef difrei tzadikim tzedek tzedek tirdof leman tihyeh v'rashta et haaretz Asher Adonai Elohecha noten lach.
Baruch at Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. She'natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam v'tah b'tochenu. Baruch at Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. I would now like to take a moment to turn our attention toward those who are in need of our positive energy, our healing prayers. We turn to page 371 for the singing of Mishaberach, and we keep in mind all of those whose names we know and whose names we don't know, who are suffering, who do need our healing. Perhaps it's an affliction of the body, of the mind, of any level of the spirit. There is no affliction that is unworthy of our healing energy. I'll read the names we do know, and then I will open it up for names from our congregation to share as well. And you are welcome on live stream. We pray for the health and well-being of Bill Wallace, Barbara Marshall, Mark Snyder, Jill Sloan Marcotte, Maureen Wise, Ian Kamen, Terry Augustover, Susan Ritter, Barbara Meyer, Rachel Rivka Bat Zelda, Donna Newman, Guillaume Pigny, Michelle Rosenberg, Howard Block, Mary Jo Ray, Daniel Lewis, James Rooney, Jennifer Meyer, John Frasca, Ira Berezowski, Sarah Shakora, Anthony Casino, Lindsay Hartman, Lucas Hartman, Dominic Carlucci, Susan Sadens, Nancy Blake, Leah Henry, Danielle Stile, Margaret Schoenfeld, Joan Taylor, Alan Spector, Judy Lesser. We also pray for healing for the servicemen, servicewomen, and service people who have been wounded or injured on behalf of our country. Now I'd like to open it up for any names you may wish to add from the congregation, beginning over here. We pray for refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, refuat shlema, a complete and total healing, as we sing the Misha Be'erak on page 371. Misha Be'erak Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I would like to now invite up Charles Miller for Hagbah, and our Torah dresser is Donna Newman. I invite her up as well to dress our Torah. And please rise. And to open our ark, we have Kevin Pekar, Cameron Gray, and Joseph Cavino. Don't be shy. Good job, guys. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לי 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 עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וטוב בצבאותיה השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם. You may be seated. We turn to page 379 for our prayer for Rosh Chodesh, the new month, or the head of the month. We say this blessing on the new moon as we begin a month of introspection before the high holy days. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Elul Hu Hayom. The new month of Elul begins today. So, this week, I took a family poll. I asked everyone in our immediate family what they thought of when I said the word, in English, justice. I asked our 3-year-old Lena, who is running around here somewhere, what is justice? She's right there. She looked me right in the eye and said confidently, Justin. This is the name of my older brother. I moved on to Cameron. Cameron initially said Justice League, which was age appropriate and includes Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, but he also added the word power. Interesting. Then I was on to Megan. I asked her to give me her initial reaction when I said the word justice. She gave me a look that I can only describe so poetically as a long, that was it. And I was wondering what she meant. She told me that the word justice brings to mind punishment, the inability to forgive, revenge, and a lot of other negative words. So I've spent some time wrangling with justice before this little family poll myself, especially the world of mental health, of addiction, and restorative justice, diversion away from jail and prison. I remember myself a particular meeting with some prominent members of law enforcement. One very prominent member, upon hearing the number that 1/3 of prison inmates in America have been diagnosed with a mental illness, said, based on that and based on his experience, that's not justice. That's really just not right. And he repeated it, that's not justice. That's really just not right. Some of the anecdotes I heard in these settings and these meetings were simply, they were sad, referring to individuals who the system just did not know what to do with. They ended up incarcerated. People being the key word, who with proper treatment could not only enter society but potentially flourish in society, to see them behind bars struggling mightily with their mental health. This did not feel like justice to my friend in law enforcement. So this week we read and read one of the most famous phrases in all of Torah, tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, justice, justice you shall pursue, or perhaps righteousness, righteousness you shall pursue. The people of Israel are commanded by God to appoint judges and officers when they settle the promised land. They shall judge the people with righteous judgment, mishpat tzedek. So there are many interpretations of this line, tzedek, tzedek, tirdof. And we are always to perk up a little bit when a word is repeated in Torah. Rabbi Simcha Bunim, a Polish Hasidic Rebbe, attributed the repetition of tzedek to mean that one must only pursue righteousness or justice through means that are righteous or just. The outcome is not the only matter of importance, but also how we get there. That can make a world of difference. Rabbi Abraham ibn Ezra, one of our medieval commentators, wrote that the repetition of the word tzedek was to imply that we must pursue righteousness or justice as long as we are breathing on this earth. We must never stop improving and becoming more and more just. This week's portion also tells us explicitly that we are not to destroy trees bearing fruit in the midst of chaotic battles of war. Even through the destruction of warfare, we are told never to lose sight of justice, the type of justice that aspires to what is right and good. Torah seems to be telling us that we can become blinded by a world that seems unforgiving and cruel. Sometimes bad things happen to good people, and we are left wondering why, and perhaps seeking a type of justice that does not truly live up to its inherent concept. Sometimes it might be easier to say, raise the whole forest, get rid of everything. We are in the middle of a war, let's just flatten all of it. As an or legoyim, or a light unto the nations, we must preserve our trees bearing fruit in spite of what is necessarily easy. How many beautiful seeds do we have sitting behind bars, not given a chance to grow and bear fruit? Likely too many. How can we reach the full potential of the promised land when many of our beautiful souls are not being given a chance to thrive? That's not justice. That's really just not right. My law enforcement friend unknowingly quoted from Parsha Shoftim, "That's not justice, tzedek, that's not right, tzedek." His next line could have been, "Let us pursue both." Tirdof. The Torah does not call for a lack of justice or for letting people who need to be brought to justice off the hook. It does, however, ask us to practice a type that is not perverse, that is not based upon anything other than the particular case at hand. No bribes, no outside influences that have no bearing on the situation. What is our reward? We like to ask sometimes. For righteous judgment, for mishpat tzedek. We will live long and possess the land that God has given us. So if we are to endure, to continue, we must always remember the fruit of the trees. Amidst the smoke, shelling, bombing, bedlam, trauma, we must do the holiest of work to preserve our precious fruits. We must water and nurture the seeds that are our fellow human beings. We must not run wildly through the forests of our lives with axes in hand, chopping aimlessly at whoever wrongs us. We must also look at the bigger picture, look at the soil, the conditions, the light, the environment for growing. Have we done and will we do all we can to ensure that our precious fruit trees are put in the best possible conditions to grow? Or will we stifle that growth in a box too small to allow roots to take hold? There is a quote whose origin was difficult to track, but is often attributed to author Nelson Henderson. He wrote, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees underneath whose shade you do not expect to sit." When we follow the just and right path in our own lives, we do not imprison the lights of our fellow human beings, but break down the bars and the walls that allow us to live long and endure in the land, that allow us all to plant our roots, to get the proper amount of nourishment and to grow. Every person, every tree is precious. Let us pursue justice that restores and renews. It is our beautiful, joyous, and holy duty. Shabbat Shalom. I would now like to invite up for some announcements Lloyd Newman.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for coming tonight so we can pray together as a community. It's wonderful to see everyone here this evening. Happy 9th birthday to Cameron. Please put the rhythm instruments in the basket on your way back of the sanctuary to the social hall for the oneg. Rabbi Josh, Meg, Lena are honoring Cameron's birthday. Our next service will be next Friday, August 25, at West Meadow Beach. We have wonderful beach services during the summer, and everybody is welcome to come at 7 o'clock or come a bit earlier and bring a picnic dinner. We all meet at the pavilion. If you have some news you'd like to share, please fill out the Shabbat Simcha form in the lobby. Torah study with Rabbi Josh is tomorrow morning at 9:30 on Zoom. We have some save the dates. We have story time and song with Rebitz and Meg on Tuesday, August 22 at 10:30. There is a Sisterhood West Meadow Beach social on August 22 at 6 p.m. Bring your own quote-unquote girl dinner. Beverages and desserts will be provided. There's a rain date for August 23. Please RSVP to Paula or Carol Ann. Also, there's a Sunday, August 27th at 9 through 12. The Temple Isaiah Make Ahead Holiday Challah Bake with Andrea Barbakoff. Limited to 18 participants. Please RSVP to Andrea. And a Sisterhood Welcome Back brunch on September 10th. Also, Shlichot on September 9 at 4 p.m. Please sign up. There's a movie, a potluck dinner, and everybody should have a wonderful time. Shabbat Shalom, and happy birthday to Cameron.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Lloyd. I'd also like to thank Eugene Iovine for his beautiful music and filling in today. For Dan, I'd like to thank Megan and Artie for playing his percussion, and all of you, because you make this music. We all make it together. At this time, I would like to invite up to open our Ark for Aleinu, Arnie Katz. You can turn to the Aleinu in page 586 of your Sidurim, of your prayer books. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated. We now turn to page 594 for our prayer that precedes the Kaddish. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. We remember the yahrzeits of Sarah Schneider, Milton Sturman, father of George Sturman, Milton Weineck, Sylvia Red Berman, Abraham Ullman, Florence Brown, sister-in-law of Joan Abbey, Harry Brunner, grandfather of Laura Gewertz, Cecily Flaster, mother of Norman Flaster, Dina Leah Rosenzweig, niece of Dean Rosenzweig, Hyman Cohen, Jenny Frankenstein, grandmother of Anne Gerstein, Al Martin, Flo Peck, friend of Irva Steinweiss, Sanford Teller, father of Betty Fagan, Stephen A. Marks, father of Daniel Marks, Isaac Levitan, Julius Silbergleit, father of Tina Dunayer. We observe the Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Abraham Miller, grandfather of Charles Miller, Aaron Berezowski, father of Michelle Goonan. We also remember the 6 million Jewish men, women, children, and people who perished in the Holocaust. I would now like to open it up on live stream to share, and also in our congregation, if there are any names you wish to add, I will start over here and move in this direction. We remember those we have loved who have made an impact on us, on the world. We remember that as long as we do remember, people are never truly gone, for they live within us. There might be light that is fading from our view, but never truly dying, as long as we keep their memories alive with righteousness and justice. I say Tzeker Tzadik Livracha, may their righteous memories forever be for a blessing. As we honor them, we rise and turn to page 598 in our prayer books as we share together in the recitation of Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadol v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Bi'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mivorach leolam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal. Shemei d'kudasha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. You may be seated. We end with our final song on page 647. At the bottom of the page, we sing, Ozi. Let Adonai be our strength as we enjoy Shabbat and we move into the new week we move into the new month of Elul with some holy introspection, but we don't have to do introspection without joy, without simcha. So let us join together in singing joyously, Ozi. Ozi, v'simchat Yah, vayahili lishua. 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 Last time. Ozi, v'simchat Yah, vayahili lishua. As I say, Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chu neka, may God make God's countenance to shine upon you and to be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you truly feel the presence of God within you always. And may you find and continue searching for and never give up until that day we all find shalom, or peace. Please join us in the social hall for Kiddush and Motzi, and I say Shabbat Shalom to those on live stream as well.
She's ready.
Yeah, I don't know otherwise. Yeah, exactly. Damn, this is fancy iPad. I'm still a dinosaur. I'll never get over it. I like turning pages. Yeah, exactly.